Hey pumpkins, it's Ann Austin, and this southern girl is cold. We're having quite the snowstorm way up north here at the house on the prairie. It seemed like a good time to do a winter home decor tour. This is my cute little place way up north here. Hey y'all to my southern friends. This driveway and walkway was completely clear of snow just a few hours ago. We knew the snow was coming, and by golly, here it is. So let's take a quick look at the winter decor on the porch. Starting with some hanging snowflakes on either side. We have got my Arkansas Razorback, Snort, and he's got his little hat on because it is really cold out here. My flocked Christmas tree, and Mother Nature has helped me with that by doing some flocking of its own. Here we've got these little miniature chairs for little miniature children. They are vintage and I use them all year round. They really go with a lot of things. And I put scarves on those just because I thought it looked fun. Mitchell and I got this really neat old vintage sled, I don't know, a month or so ago. Thought it would look great on the porch, and I think it really does. Christmas wreath. And then over here I just have a few odds and ends, some things that I've kind of patched together or repurposed or whatever. This deer I got from Michael's after Christmas. It was on super mega sale, and let me tell you, this was disco deer. I mean, silver sparkles and everything. So he got sanded down, painted, a little bit of antique wax, and put on a wood pedestal, so it'd be a little bit more appropriate. Usually has a scarf around it, but I'm serious, it is snowing so hard. Can it snow hard? I'm not sure. It is snowing so much and so fast. Last time we had a big snow, the scarf just got completely soaked. So sorry, little tree, you're gonna have to sit out here on your own. Anyway, I'm getting cold, so I'm going in the house. So come on and let's take a look at a few things that I've done inside. Christmas was strange for me this year. I didn't get to have any family come. I didn't get to see family. I actually ended up working on Christmas. I believe it or not, I volunteered because we weren't going to be able to do anything special on Christmas. And usually I've got everything all decorated up. And I don't know, this year, maybe COVID, not sure what it was. I just wasn't feeling it. So I took Christmas down, and this is the first year that I decided, hey, I could decorate for winter. And living up in Iowa, winters last a very long time. So I had a really fun time coming up with some ideas and some projects to do for winter. As always, I kind of find odds and ends and then put them in my stash and figure out what I want to do with them. And that's where these came from. Probably the most fun thing that I got to do, and I've gotten a lot of comments on it, is this snowball garland that I made out of foam balls, Mod Podge, Epsom salts, and beads. And I'll do a tutorial for you sometime if you're interested. And then I just went through and I put up some things that looked like winter to me. I used this stand, I guess it's maybe a cake stand, I don't know, I painted it that color, which, believe it or not, I think is a really neutral color. I use it pretty much all seasons and it lends itself well to every season. Vintage silver ornament that we got. And some odds and ends that I just thought were pretty. I also have a tiered tray here that I did. I know everybody has a tiered tray, but I do too. Some sale items. You're going to see that snowflake there in the kitchen when we move over to the kitchen. Some pretty odds and ends. And my mom and my grandmother, whom I never met, but there she is. Her name was Terry. And some pom-poms that I just made and scattered around. I don't really like the fireplace much, but I do like these Dollar Tree pillar candles. I think it gives the nice glow without the cleanup of the fireplace. Speaking of fireplaces, my vintage copper fire extinguisher that we got when we went to Indiana in search of some ancestry things for Mitchell. So there is my mantle. That's where it all began. I just have one main living area in this house, and fortunately I already use a lot of this blue-green mineral color that I love, and I think it really lends itself well to the winter decor. I've just done a few things here, like for example, I just got some skeins of yarn, rolled them into balls, put them in a basket. I've got some blankets draped here. Of course, there's the pom-poms that I love. Here's a book, and it is not just for decoration, happens to be the right color, but Mitchell's actually reading it. It's called Pascal and the Progressive Royalist. It was written in 1901, and he is reading it, and I think he is just begging to have his lunch money stolen, but it's cute that he's reading it. And then over here, I've got my sofa that I built from I don't know what. Long story, I moved into a house that I couldn't fit the sofa through the door, a 1940s house when I was in Little Rock, and there's no cushion on the back, for real. There's a back, but no cushion on it. So every time we see that Progressive commercial, you know, the one where the therapist is telling a lady that she's got too many pillows and you don't need that many pillows, and Jill always raises his eyebrow. But really, we don't have a back on it. So it's kind of cool to do, I think, for the winters. I've got some corduroy, I've got some plaid, I've got some winter scenes here, some deer. This pillow right here came from Kirkland's, and it had a red pom-pom nose, which I thought looked kind of strange. So I got out my heat gun and I heated that dude right off, and now I really love it. And there, right in the middle, is a Dollar Tree snowflake. I just glued it on, so hopefully it'll come off okay. We'll find out. I've got a few vintage things here in my little collection. I've got some cameras and a clock. Right there, if you can see, that is my grandfather's boyhood marble collection. It's probably about 100 years old now, and I'm lucky enough to have it. Just a couple of other things here, cameras and such. This coffee table that we have is actually a vintage school desk that I found for $10. And I stripped it down and I stained it, got all the old paint off of it, and it really looks kind of neat. And I've got it here in the living room as our coffee table. And then finally on the top, I just had this mirror. I've had it for a long time, wasn't sure what to do with it. We don't have a dining room. I don't know, I just couldn't figure out what to do with it, but it's beautiful. It's silver leaf. And to me, it kind of reminds me of a frozen pond or lake. I thought it was pretty. So I didn't put anything on it. There's a lot going on here already, and I didn't feel like it needed anything more. I really like the look of a flocked Christmas tree, and so this year I finally got one. Obviously, I've long since taken down my big Christmas tree, but this one I left up. I just undecorated it. I think it looks really pretty. It's nice to have some twinkle in the corner there, especially because these winter nights in the Midwest are long and dark. So I've got that up there, and then here I've got my yarn trees. As long as I was doing trees, I made some yarn trees too. These are very easy to make. I embellish them with different things. I've got some wooden snowflakes, some pom-poms, some of my favorite. I've got this tree here is standing on a vintage ribbon spool. It's made out of wood. I've got several of different sizes, and I use them whenever I want to give something a little bit of height. So I have several of them in my stash, and I pull them out when I need them. And I usually have got 2 or 3 going at a time somewhere. I just sprinkled some vintage doorknobs at the base there, and that's a pizza pan from the Dollar Tree that I just spray painted. So I didn't set out to put out doorknobs or anything like that, but it's just a case of I have certain things that I like, and I put them in a box, and I poke around in the box every so often, and I say, that might look nice there, and it does. Down at the bottom here, I've just got some vintage movie tins stacked up. I liked the colors and I liked the shape. Thought it kind of echoed the shape of the tray, the table, and then the tins at the bottom. Thought it just made for a nice and interesting look, gave it a little bit of color. This piano is a big piece of furniture in a small space, so I like to use it for seasonal vignettes, and winter is no exception. It's a beautiful old Mason and Hamlin. It was a gift from my mom. I'll tell you the story sometime. And it provides, I think, a really nice backdrop for some pretty things. I added this wood piece. It used to be a mirror. I took the mirror off the back and I just propped it on there. And I think it's a nice addition to an already beautiful piece. This is a canvas print from Kirkland's. It said "Love Never Melts" on it, which was cute, but not what I was going for. So I mixed up some paint and I just painted it right out. It is sitting in front of the TV, which I think is a little stark. We don't watch it a whole lot and it's very light. So if we want to watch TV, we'll just take it, put it to the side and then put it back. Over here, Mitchell got me this candlestick holder for Christmas in one of my favorite colors, so he knew it was a safe bet, and it sure is. A book stack with some pom-poms. I got a pom-pom maker this year. I highly recommend it. It's really a lot of fun. I've been making them for all sorts of things. And then I just add a few here and there. It's a nice filler. So cute. And finally, in this corner, I have a mid-century paint by numbers that Mitchell got me for Christmas. We picked it out together, but it was his gift to me. I changed the frame. Actually, I just repainted the frame that came with it. But I love it. It's so vintage and so campy, and I love the colors. I think it's really great, and I think this is a perfect spot for it, so it's found a home right here. This hallway ledge seemed like the perfect place to showcase a beautiful watercolor of Terrace Hill. This is the Iowa Governor's Mansion. It's a beautiful Victorian home downtown in Des Moines. And then I added these felt balls that I got from Etsy. I've also got some red ones that I use at Christmas, but I took those out for the winter season. Just added a few little things that I had. I thought it gave it some nice winter color. Here's a bottle brush tree. One of the ones that I did last year. It's on an old door knob, really pretty. And these larger ones here are dryer balls. Yes, indeed, I got these at Walmart. But I just thought it made for a pretty winter scene. We don't actually have any guests for our guest bathroom over the covets, but if we did, I've just got it wintered up a little bit in here. Carrying on with the blue theme. And then of course, Southern girls will put a monogram anywhere. I made this cute little plaque out of, I think I got both pieces at Walmart. Painted, polka dots, glue, there you go. Over here is my nod to the great outdoors. I got this plaque at Michael's, and I'll bet you I messed it up a good half dozen times, painted, stained, whatever, just couldn't get it right. Finally I decided to put this contact paper on it, and I think it turned out pretty cute. And then I painted this cutout deer head, painted distressed a little bit. And last but not least, I've had these birch log candle holders for a long time. I really like them. I made these out of, cut up birch logs. You just need to get a paddle bit that's the appropriate size, hook it up to your drill down a little ways, drop it in. Now obviously these are not real candles because I did very nearly burn the house down once. So when you come visit us, we'll be ready for you. You can even use the guest towel. Here we are in the winter kitchen. The colors that I already have and love really lend themselves well to winter decorating. So a lot of the stuff I already had. It's light blue and off-white and silver and things like that. I don't know if you can see how much it's snowing. I think it's going to be a real doozy. I'm from the South, so every time it snows I have to take a lot of video and send it to my friends back home as if they've never seen snow before, but really, it's a lot of snow. Anyway, here's a couple of things that I've got. Really, mostly what I've done is to use what I have and repurpose things, and then I found some things on sale that I've just tweaked a little bit. For example, there is a charger plate that I got from Michael's. This was way cheap. I just got this blue pedestal, fits right in. Now these things here, this is a whole lot of nothing. It's a piece of fabric that I cut, and I hot glued some pom-poms on the end, but doesn't it kind of look like a dish towel when it's all artfully draped? Some more winter houses. This is just stuff that I had. This is some Christmas stuff. I've had this for a long time too. I love the tiered tray and it's not even a tiered tray, whatever it is. Here's something neat that I got this year. These snowflake things, I think they're actually meant to be maybe little candy dishes or something. They look like this. I got them at Walmart. They come 4 in a pack, and I got them on clearance. They ended up being, I don't know, a couple dollars for a pack of 4. They're glass. I like this side better. Notice that it's not silver, and here's my secret weapon. This stuff is called Looking Glass. It's a Krylon product, and you just spray it on lightly, a little bit, and it gives you this really neat mirrored finish. It's different than, say, just a straight silver spray paint. I love this stuff. It's expensive. This is $13.99. Of course, I always use a coupon, but a little goes a long way, and I think it gives a nice higher end look to a lot of the things that I do. And then over here, I just have a few things set out for coffee. Got these biscotti that our neighbor gave us. We have really wonderful neighbors here. Our neighbor across the street has a food truck, Mediterranean food, and he and his wife gave us a really nice basket for Christmas. A little bit more of the coffee type stuff. I got this last week. This is funny. This little thing cost, I don't know, less than $1 because it was on super sale. And it's Jesus and Mary and Joseph. So I bring it home, and Mitchell says, "Is that Wilford Brimley?" So now all I see is Wilford Brimley in a bowl of oatmeal. However, I thought it would still be cute to use. We can use it at Christmas on this side, and then for winter, I just glued that snowflake on the outside, or on the back side. So now it's multi-purpose. And then, of course, everyone has cute coffee bars and tiered trays and fancy things. This is my version of a coffee bar. It's a Keurig and some coffee pods and a pot. That's as good as it's going to get. Oh, look, there's the puppy. Hello, puppy. So that is a quick look at some of my kitchen things, and we'll move over to the other side in a second. And this is the other side of the kitchen. We live in a small house, which is fine. We don't have a dining room. We don't really need one. It's just the two of us. So I enjoy decorating for seasons and occasions. And this corner here has given me the opportunity to do that. I've changed out the hanging pieces several times. I got these wood pieces. I think in about October, Mitchell and I went to Indiana in search of his great-grandfather's farm and homestead and burial site, and I found these beautiful old wood, hangings. And then I added these winter picks. They were actually Christmas picks. They had some beautiful red berries on them, but I obviously took those off because this is for winter. So here in this corner, I've also just added a few little things, some of my silver things. You can always just add bits and pieces, whatever you've got, or find some things at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Some of these things are old. This is a vintage pine cone ornament. Some are new. I got this ornament at Walmart, less than $1. It didn't want to stand up on its own, so I hot glued this piece on the back. I call them obscenity blocks because I bought them at, I bought a big set. It's sort of like those Jenga blocks, tower blocks. I bought a big set at Goodwill. When I got home, I opened them up, and I'm not sure what kind of game these people were playing, but there was an obscene suggestion on every single block. So I just make sure and sand that off or paint over it or glue it so you can't see it. But they do well to hang things up with. Just another look at the winter pick. And then just this year, I don't know what took me so long, but I sort of discovered garlands. I think the kitchen's a pretty place to put a garland. I have this black and white one. I'm sorry the lighting's not great. I'm still working on that. But I did some things for Christmas. I did some things for autumn. Now I've got some things for winter, and I made all of these things. This is a wood snowflake that I put decoupage on, and then added the other wooden snowflakes. I made these out of also some wooden snowflakes, and I used colored stain. So I didn't want it to be real stark. Can you see how much it's snowing? Wow. And I also found this neat little snowflake that was less than 50 cents. I painted it. I added that to the middle of it. I thought it was pretty, kind of tied it in with the others, gave it some color. These are just marbles that I bake at high temperature, drop in ice cold water, and they crackle on the inside, so they're real pretty. This is a tray that I use as well all year round. It stays out, and I just change it out for the seasons. I've got these battery powered flicker candles again. I hate to burn the house down. And then I added some greenery, some silver things. This tray I did years ago. It's from one of my favorite Bible verses in Micah. It says, "Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly with your God." That pretty much sums it up if we can achieve those things. I'm still trying. And the final little bit of my kitchen is this white open front cabinet that's got all my white pieces in it. I think there's a lot to be said for just plain white. It's so clean and simple, and I really love it, and I keep it out year round just like this. Below it, I've got this hand-carved wooden tray. It's a single piece of wood that was hand-carved, hand-painted. It's Scandinavian in style, and it was given to me by my dear friend Judy in Austin, Texas. I've had it for many years, and I've hung it every place I've lived because it reminds me of her. Thank you for watching my first video. I'm hiding behind Millie because my hair and makeup lady didn't show up for work today. This has been fun. It's really just, this is a practice run. I've got so many things to learn, and I'm looking forward to it. I promise I'm going to come up with some snappy thing to say at the end of my videos. I'm sorry, dear, am I boring you? Thanks, you guys. See you soon.